Hello and welcome. Peavey Classic 2x12 combo, 50 watt combo. This is hybrid, so but whereas most modern tube amps are valve preamp and solid state power amp, this is the other way round. So let's just have a look at what we've got on this amp. So this amp is in for a bit of a look over. It seems to run okay. We don't know what we're going to find when we open it up, but seems to run. Just needs the parts cleaning, a few bits and bobs. So just look at the inputs there. We've got bright, series, parallel, and normal. So that's a bit weird. Don't see that on amps. Obviously bright and normal, series and parallel. But there, we'll have to look into that. And 2 channels. So one would imagine that you could either run the 2 channels together in parallel, or you can go series through the channels. Interesting. Not seen that before on an amp. So we've got the 2 volumes, bass, middle, treble, reverb. Just look there. Depth. That's the tremolo. So we've got tremolo on this, a rate, and then we've got a master volume. We can see honing in there. We've also got this sticker Hobbs Music, which looks like Lancaster to me, but can't find a music shop online in Lancaster. There is 1 or 2 things Hobbs Music, but not really to do with guitar amplifiers. So let's swing it round and have a look at the back. Right, so if we look at the back, you can see there we've got just the fuse thing going on. We need to check that. And we've got this very strange on-off switch, which has got on, off, and on again. Not sure what that's about, whether one side of that is got some kind of ground lift on it or what, I don't know. Then you can see we've got these speaker sockets there. We need to get this out of the chassis now and have a good look at it. Let's have a look at the speakers we've got in there. There we go. So we've got some, you can see the speakers in there, and they're odd. Just looked at those. If you look at that one and then look at that one, they are odd. So I don't know what's going on there. Right, let's get it out its cabinet and have a butcher's at the innards. Right, we've got this thing out of its case, and you can see we've got this hone in there. We've got a Mallory capacitor, and that is 40, 40, 20, 20, I think. Let me just check that. Yeah, so 4 in 1 in there, so we better hope that's not tainted, or that'll incur some work. Just won't be finding one of those online that just slots in. So a couple of 6L6s GCs that we've got there, and they're from Hot Rocks, whilst you probably don't know. Not heard of that in the States. That's actually a company in Nottingham that sells tubes and amp parts and things. They're actually tung-sole tubes, they are. You can see that on the sides. We just squeeze around there, you should be able to see it. Just hold in there. Small output transformer. Not getting 50 watts out of that, are we? More like 20, 30. And there's the power transformer there, you can see. And again, not huge. Right, let's turn it over. We've got reverb tank, you can see there. Wonder if there's a date on that capacitor. No, can't see one on there. So let's just lift it over and have a look at the gubbings. Right, I've got this thing up and running. Check out those jack sockets. They're a bit chunky, aren't they? A bit different. So I'm guessing this amp's from around the mid-70s, really. I would have thought, looking at it, something from around that time. Very odd ways of doing things. Look at those dropping resistors there. And they're on that capacitor, 4 of them together. And yeah, so we've got this thing running. Don't see any problems with any capacitors or anything. As you can see, if we just step back, you can see inside it. Stick another light on there, just give a bit more. Yeah, so you can see. But this amp has been running a bit hot at one time. Now I don't know whether it's been rebiased. So those tubes, you get the impression those tubes haven't been in there a hell of a long time. So I'm going to check the bias on these tubes and just see that what they're running at. Right, I'm just measuring the plate voltage on this. It is a staggering 477. It seems a lot for an hybrid amp. It also seems a lot for, I don't know. But here's the more worrying thing. 477 volts on the plate, and the caps are rated at 475. They're right on the limit, a volt or two over. That's something you don't see very often. Quite rare. So there we go. So now we need to find out what the bias is on this amp, what we're biasing this at. And the first thing to do is to measure the impedance either side of the transformers. We need to switch it off to do that, which we'll do there. Just wait till the voltage goes down on the meter, which it has done now. Always make sure the caps are drained before you start tinkering. Right, so we've measured the impedance either side of the transformer, and now measuring the volts drop from the centre tap to the plate, or each of the plates. So the first one, which is the left side, is a 4.63. So I'm going to write that down. Let's go to the next one. 4.3 we've got on there. So that's the drop across the centre tap to the plate on each tube. The impedance on the left side is 136 and 122 on this side. Now let's check out the plate voltage, and that is 479 volts, and this capacitor is 475 volts. So what's going on there? So where's the calculator, my large calculator that someone said, well, you'll never lose that. Well, I have lost it on occasions. The left side is 136, sorry, go that back to front, 4.63 divided by 136 equals 34 milliamps, times by 478 comes out at 16.27. So that's just about right, really. 17.5 would be the 30. Actually, no, these are 6L6s, not EL84s. EL34s, sorry. Yeah, 6L6s, not EL34s. Get so used to working on amps with EL34s. So and you know, I need to go and check that, what the max dissipation is on a 6L6, 30 watts. I'll have to check that on Bully's prize board. Yeah, just looked in the old trusty manual and I am correct, it is 30 watts. It's that long since I'd done any 6L6s. I thought that had slipped my mind, but I were right at 30 watts. Almost got that wrong then, thinking they were EL34s. Because in the States, you tend to see 6L6s, hardly ever see 34s unless you're doing the odd Marshall. Over here, it's the opposite way around. So, having done the maths, oh, and by the way, I've done the maths on the other side. So there we go, I looked at that, and those are brilliantly matched valves. So well done Hot Rocks for those, because they've obviously matched those. Got their stickers on them. And they've matched those at 6.27 and 16.27 and 16.8. So that's not bad at all. That's pretty close for a matched set of tubes. So what is 70% of 30? It's 21. So that could explain why this plate voltage is a little high and on the limit at 475. You can see it is now, the cap is at 475, because the plate voltage, because the bias is a little low, not a lot, but it is low. So these should be dissipating at 70% at 21 watts. They are dissipating at 16 watts, between 16 and 17. So 55% they're running at, although they do seem quite warm, so they're running at that, but that's what the math says. So, and everybody has their own ways of biasing these. Some people have got these, well, a lot of people have, they've got the plug-in things with the box that gives them the current and the plate voltage on there. So now we've got, I can see a couple of pots on there, trim pots. Where's my pointer gone? So we'll point them out. So there's one there and one there. So one of those, I would guess, would adjust the bias. So what I'm going to do now is take that off of there. It's got rather hooked on like that, and then pin 5, negative 53 volts. So now I'm going to look for that, and before I start twiddling things, that should tell me which is the bias on those, not that one. That one says negative 73 on that side, and negative 27 on that side. So I'm guessing it's that one, and the other reason why I think that is, there's a couple of 220k resistors down there. Let's just put the meter on those, see if we've got negative volts, and we have. There we are. We have indeed. So that one is for the bias. Not sure what that one's for. Could be for the tremolo. Right, so we've had a bit of a tweak, and we've got the drop on the left side now at 6.12 volts. Remember, we're looking for 21 watts. 6.13 divided by 136 ohms, which is the resistance on the left side of the output transformer. That gives us 45 milliamps, and we've got 458 of plate voltage. So we measured that, and that comes out at 20.6 watts, and that's right where I'm going to leave it, because I reckon the other side will be about dead on, given that there was a little discrepancy between them, but very mild. So 20.6 on the left. So let's look at this side. 5.74 divided by 122. That's also come out at 47 milliamps. And that's 21.5. That one's come out at 21.54. So yes, just about bang on that. Right, I've just tweaked that bias a tiny bit, and I've now got 20.66 on the right side, so I'll have a little bit less on the left, so probably about 20 watts dead on the other side, and that'll give me, that's just a tad under 70%, but it's as good as 70%. Now I'm going to leave it at that. So having done that, and now we'll look at the plate voltage. That's on the capacitor now, from plate to ground, and from the capacitor to ground, and you can see it's now at 466. So the bias being set too cold on this amp was running that capacitor right on its limit, which it will run at that limit, but at 477 it was a couple of volts over. So now at 466 we're inside that rating of that capacitor, and we've got that set spot on. So that's the bias done, and I think the only thing we need to do now on this amp is just clean the pots, and I think and the jack sockets, and I think that will do us on this one. We'll have a listen. Right, so we've got this Peavey back in its case. Let's have a bit of a listen. got there. EQ's not bad on it. See what the reverb's like. Try this tremolo now. When I was actually going to go it on the bench, but I hadn't got a guitar through it, it sounded quite pulsy, this tremolo. Right, that is slow. So, there's something always very harsh about solid state tremolo. It works though. Let's try the normal channel. Let's try this series and parallel. My word, these sockets are tough. Let's try the parallel one. Now I'm assuming, yeah, you can use both channels there. That's to give it a bit more beef. Clipping going on there. This thing is loud as well, considering where I've got the master volume and these volumes. We'll get a good 50 watts out of this after all. Transformers didn't look very big, but let's try the series sockets. Ooh. That really is. Right, so we've just got to do it. So if we turn the master down, let's turn both of these full up. That's a bit of a fuzz box sound. There we are. So there's some, it's got some gain on it, but actually now we're back. If we should start to back it off a bit, well, that don't sound too bad. When it's turned full, I mean, it's, you know, it's a solid state front end on this. This amp is loud. But for me, I prefer the bright channel. Let's go the other way now. Let's turn the master up to number 10. Let's turn the bright channel up. Oh, that's glassy. The Peavey Classic 50-watt combo hybrid. That's not a bad sounding amp. I mean, this is a budget amp, and you know, obviously I've opened this up. The caps are okay. We've got no capacitance hum or anything, any problems. The only problem really was that bias. The pots are a bit noisy, but we've cleaned those. And of course that bias was just running that plate voltage a bit above the capacitors. Not much, but now we've got it biased correctly, and it does sound a lot better. I must admit, I plugged this in when I brought it. Again, this is another one from Lee's shop. I brought this back. It does sound a lot better. I don't like amps being biased cold. Some people bias them cold, but they just sound better at 70%. Having said that, they don't really want to be over that. For fixed bias anyway, cathode bias is different, but fixed bias 70%. So there we go. We've now got that bias voltage, we've now got that plate voltage down to about 468, something like that, just below that capacitor. So there we have it. So that's another one done. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Very strange overdrive on there. Leave the camera alone, dog. Sorry about that. That's the dog. And you all take care, and I will see you all in a future video. Bye bye for now.